Okay, in this video segment, we really need to go and improve the SQL. If we don't improve the SQL, this is the consequences. Let me show you. Right, for the next 100 years, no matter what we do, it will forever just show Daniel. In other words, if let's say that this Daniel will become Daniel the vampire, okay, right, Daniel the vampire, okay, then of course our web form is working. Right? Notice that Daniel the vampire is shown here. But if let's say that this one is Simpson the Great, right? So what record is this? This is the second record, right? This is the record that is uniquely represented by a number of 2, right, under the staff record ID here, right? What will happen is that it will forever just show Daniel, right? There's no way we can show what? There's no way, absolutely no way we can actually show Simpson the Great, okay? Simpson the Great. There's absolutely no way. So in order to go and show Simpson the Great, of course we can change here, like change here, then we can show. But then again, for the next 100 years, you will forever just able to go and get the web form to show what? Simpson the Great, okay? Right, now the thing is that I need to go and tell the command object. The command object has the SQL. I need to go and tell the command object that this 2 must be replaced with a blank. So notice the add sign here, okay, add sign. Then after I'm going to put in staff record ID, okay. So I'm actually creating a blank, right? Notice that the 2 is gone already. I'm creating a blank. What is the name of this blank? In staff record ID. So what am I supposed to do with this? Right, I need to go. So will the command object have this SQL called what? Select asterisk on staff where equals to add sign in staff record ID? Yes, but the command object is a bit, you need to educate him. So I need to go and begin telling the command object that it has a blank. What is the name of the blank? Right, called in staff record ID. So how to go and tell it? I say command object, you got a blank, right? So I must inform him that actually it's called parameters, okay? Parameters are the blank is called parameters. So how many parameters are there? There's one parameter. What is the name of the parameter? Add in staff record ID. So there can be more than one parameter, so they use the parameters to keep track of it. So dot add, right? Add what? Add the name of the parameter, right? In staff record ID. And then of course it will say that what is the data type? Okay, you want the data type, I'll give you, right? So this one int, okay? So I've already informed the command object the parameter, but will the command object, what can the command object do with the parameter, right? Sooner or later, if this is actually 5, so this one must be 5. If this one is actually 4, this one must be 4. If this one is actually 2, this one must be 2. But how am I supposed to go and supply that? Okay, you see, cmd dot parameters. Then I'll ask it to go and find back the what? In staff record ID, right? Find back the same blank. Then dot value. Let's just say that I supply him a value of 5. What is the consequences? Let me actually just try to go and right click rebuild. Right, then let us actually take a look at our staff management here. What is the outcome here? Let's take a look. What is 5? 5 is Maggie, okay? Maggie, okay? Not 5. So in other words, here let's just say that I will refresh. So will I be able to see Maggie? Yes, it is working. So the parameters are working fine. In other words, the SQL is right now I've successfully replaced the fixed value with a parameter name. But there's one problem. This 5 here is still fixed. Right, now this 5 cannot be fixed, right? So in other words, I need to go and create a input parameter variable for the method here. So this one I'm just going to call it string what? Staff, no, I'll just put in staff record ID. So what is the parameter variable name information I've placed here? In staff record ID. This is what we call the method parameter variables, right? The parameter variables that belongs to this method, right? This is how the web form can pass in information, which I'm going to show soon. So this is going to replace I'm going to replace this file with what? In staff record ID. Okay, right, then finally, right, what call that, under the update stuff, what am I going to do? Right, update stuff here, notice there is complaining. Do you know why or not? Because this is the code behind file of the update stuff under the page load event method. This is the page load, right? Page load. Okay, right, page load. Okay, now so this one, can I put, let's say, for? What will be for? What is for? Let us take a look what is for. Right, let us take a look what is for. Okay, so let me see, inside the database, for is Raja, right? So would there be any impact? Did I rebuild? Let me just quickly go and rebuild. Then after that, come back to here, and I'm going to refresh. I should be able to see Raja, right? So notice that is the web form passing in values into the getOneStaff method. So if I want one, definitely I'll be able to get Daniel. If I want something else, it will give me something else. But again, here is still fixed. It's still fixed, right? Oh my god, it's still fixed. Now the thing is that I'm not going to use this web form further. I just want, now this one you don't need to follow, right? If you want to follow, can. Notice that I'm creating a new web form to test, right? So this one I'll just call it as web form 1, leave it as it is, right? Then I'm actually just going to here just create a div id equals to div message, right? Then after that, run add equals to server. I'm just trying to go and prove to you something, right? Prove to you something, right? Then after that, what I'm going to do is this is the web form 1, and so inside the code behind file, this is what I'm going to do. Under the page underscore load, I'm just going to create a simple variable called test, right? A simple variable called test, and it is currently right now empty string. I want this test to collect information from the browser. That's why I use the request object, and the browser got one special text box called the query string text box. Now I'm going to call this one as XYZ. Okay, then after that, let us take a look. Oops, let us take a look what will happen. Okay, then after that, I will update the div message in a HTML property with the information stored inside the test variable, right? So this one is, I have already created a test variable, and this one is that I'm actually grabbing an information. I'm grabbing an information from the web browser, right? And what is the name of this information? Name of information is XYZ. Okay, XYZ. So the name of the information is XYZ, and what is the value of the information? The value of the information was stored inside test, and of course I can't just see like this, right? I have no telekinetic power. I need to go and show it inside a div message control. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to view in browser. Let's see what will it give me. Right, this is web form 1, right? Now at the same time, you see, at the same time, I put what? XYZ. Then after I put let's just say test the water. Okay, then enter key. Notice that test the water shown here, right? In other words, what I'm doing is that I'm actually using this query string collection here, right, that belongs to the request object. Actually, the request object, I can just simply say that request object is actually the web browser, right? It's actually the web browser. Okay, so what is query string? Right, query string is this one. This is the this thing is the query string text box, right? This is the query string. So what is the information? This is the information. And what is the name of the information? XYZ. What is the value of the information? Test the water. Have I successfully? If that is test the water, so this one sooner or later will become test the water. That's why I was able to show the test the water inside the div control. So what if this one I just put staff record ID? What is the consequences? Right? Will this one work anymore? No. You see, if I refresh, wait. If I refresh, oh, how come it's the same? Because I forgot to rebuild again. Sorry, very sorry. Okay, so right now I refresh, it's empty. Come on, empty. Why empty? Because right now the name of the information is staff record ID, but how is the browser? How is the web browser giving the information? It's still XYZ. If that C# code is using the name called staff record ID. Here should be staff record ID. So this is the way. So if this one I put 1, what will happen? If this one I put 1, I show 1. If this one I put 15, it shows 15. So in other words, is it working? Yes, it is working fine. So what does this got to do with my update? This is what's going to happen after experimenting. So right now I'm just going to create a more meaningful variable, string what? String staff record ID, right? Empty string. And then after that I'm just saying that staff record ID, please collect information from the request.QueryString. And what is the name? I'll just put staff record ID, right? If you find that this one is very long, you can just put ID. ID also can. ID also can. Anything also can, as long as it is a meaningful information name. Okay. Now then after that, this one is let me see, what is this one? This one is what? Staff record ID. After the experimentation, I'm actually going to control this web form by using the using the query string technique. Okay, this is what we call the query string technique. I am actually using the query string technique, right, in communication. Okay, now is this enough? Is this, oh, capital I, sorry, capital I. Okay, right. So how am I going to test this time? Now, if you right click in the and view in browser, you sure have runtime error. Why? Because when I view in browser, right, or let me view in IE. Okay, so I browse with Internet Explorer. Maybe I'll just set it as a default, right? Then after that I just browse. What happened? Notice that you have this error, select. So it's an SQL problem. Why? Because I need to pass in information now, so that my SQL inside the C staff manager, this SQL is going to be filled with a meaningful value, right? So that the correct record can be obtained, right? I need to provide some meaningful information here. So in other words, question mark means at the same time. Is it staff record ID? No more. Why? Because the name of the information I'm using here is let me take a look. The name of the information I'm using here is called ID, right? So here I should use what? ID. ID equals what? Let's see. ID equals to 1. Daniel. See that? What about ID equals to 2? ID equals to 2. Wow, Simpson the Great. What about ID equals to 3? Wow, Susanna. So is the update web form working nicely? Yes, it is working nicely, right? But what if the name of the information is called staff record ID this time, right? Die. Again, the same SQL problem. Can't fill in. In other words, that this what in staff record ID, etc. Can't get the number. Okay, so why this one got problem? Why this one got problem? This one got problem is because I'm using this information name. Unless this one I change it to what? Staff record ID. Okay, right. Then after that I try again. Right. So this one is just what? Staff record ID equals to 1. Right. How come port cannot 1? Oh, I understand why. Sorry again. Rebuild. Okay. Come here. I refresh. Come on, Daniel. Yeah. If this one is actually 5, 4 is Raja, I think. Right. 4 is Raja. Right. So what I've done is that I've already done the portion of trying to go and display the correct record to the user. Okay, sooner or later this web form, you don't expect the user to go and key in like this. Okay, right. Recall that this web form must work with another web form that will list out the staff information, and the user usually just click on something to select the record, then it comes to here. Okay, so we have not gone into that yet. Now the next video segment, we have to concentrate on the save button. The next video segment, we have to concentrate on the save button. That's why there are a lot of things to do. You need to practice and practice and practice. Find the feeling of the flow. Okay, Right, save button is another hassle, and once that is done, you have completed this form. So stay tuned for the next segment.